Hi, what's going on? Where are you from?
I am Christina and I'm from America.
Great. We're gonna get going here with some Korean memes. These memes are from grumpy aliens. They have a Instagram and a Facebook page. Definitely check them out. So these memes are from the perspective of an expat living here in South Korea. It gives insight into what it's like actually living here, and there's some comedy to it.
It may be a little exaggerated,
Yeah.
but I think they're hilarious.
Yeah.
그리고 저는 요즘 멤버십 프로그램을 하고 있는데 새로 영상을 올릴 때마다 영어 대본과 한영 자막을 자유롭게 설정할 수 있는 영상도 멤버들에게 올려드릴게요. 관심 있으시면 아래 설명을 참고해주세요.
Let's get into it.
Let's go.
2 seconds after someone tells me their Korean name. When I first got to Korea, I was learning Korean and I would work with people like my Korean coworkers. They were so lovely and nice, but I had the hardest time remembering everybody's name.
Yeah,
It's really difficult for me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like, because I think I didn't meet a lot of Koreans where I was from. I came from a very small town, and so like all of the vocabulary of like Korean is all new, but also like the names are all new. So like it was just so foreign sounding to me that like if it's an English name, it's like I've heard it again and again, so it just clicks. But like with Korean names, it was just so different that they would tell me and I'm like, oh, okay, and then 5 seconds later I'd be like, oh man, what was their name again?
Tell me your name one more
Tell me
time.
your name
Sorry,
again.
third time, sorry, fourth time.
I do this all the time. I feel so bad. Yeah.
It's so interesting because a lot of Korean people, young Korean people, they have an English name.
Oh yeah.
And often they'll meet a foreign friend and they'll be like, oh, you can just call me Chris. You can just call me Jenny or whatever.
Right.
And it really is a lot easier to remember.
It is, yeah.
But now I've been learning Korean for like 5.5, 6 years, and I find that it is a lot easier to remember names now. Do you find that that's true for you too?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier because like I see the same names, and also like working at a hagwon.
Yeah, that's probably the best way, the best exercise to get better at memorizing Korean names is to be an English teacher.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially with the younger kids, because a lot of times they're too young. If they hear a different name, they'd be like, what? You know? Yeah, so they often have like Korean names still.
I miss my old students. So sad.
Aw, me too.
Ajushi's expression when you do something wrong.
Yes.
That face,
Oh
right?
man,
That
the
face
look,
is so
the
accurate.
look of shame.
Yeah.
Like if you're kind of like talking a little bit loud on the subway.
That's a good one.
I don't know, like you see also like a lot of foreigners kind of like drinking soju outside or like, you know, before they go like clubbing or going somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
The Pyeongmujeon drinking, and then the ajushi so they're just looking like,
Yes.
man, what are you doing?
Yeah. Talking too loud on the subway,
Yeah.
or you have your mask right here
Oh,
on
right.
your chin,
Yeah.
and you're riding the bus. It's always something. I feel like
something.
I'm
There's
not
always-
doing something right all the time.
I know.
Why do I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like I'm always
Please don't judge me.
breaking some kind of rule?
Yeah.
No, we're just joking here.
Yeah.
Of course, this is all just comedy. I hope you guys can understand.
Right. That look though.
Yeah, that look is accurate.
Yeah,
That's how it feels.
it's quite accurate. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Korean website versus its English one.
When I first came to Korea, I was able to read Korean, but I didn't know like what the words meant. I only knew like the basic phrases. So instead of like using Coupang, I use like Gmarket. And then they have like an English version, but like sometimes the like translations would just be like really weird, like really whack.
Yeah, or sometimes
Yeah.
there's like features that are in the Korean version but just absent from the English version.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm very thankful, and at the time when I didn't speak Korean, it was very convenient. It was awesome.
It was.
It just was definitely frustrating that I was like, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm not getting the best version of this website. I think I need to learn Korean or
That's
something.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
It's much easier if you learn how to read Korean, like,
Yeah.
and you go through the websites It was quite hard, especially like when I first came here and I didn't know what the words meant. So like I was like reading it and I was like, oh, okay. But like the English version was still kind of, depending on some websites, they're quite
Do you
difficult.
use Coupang now?
Yeah, I always use Coupang.
Coupang is
It's the
best.
It's so good.
Yeah,
It's so good.
It's amazing, but it doesn't have an English.
No, yeah.
But I
it's
don't
only-
need it anymore.
Yeah, I don't
because
need it.
I speak some Korean, and I think you do too.
Right.
And like I'm used to using the website. Like it's fine, no problem now. But
Yeah.
I can imagine if you spoke zero Korean,
It's
it would
hard
be
to
a shame that you
navigate.
couldn't use like the best
Yeah.
like delivery service and kind of like shopping mall. That
And Coupang
there's.
Eats. Actually, Coupang Eats has an English
They do
version
have it
now.
It's quite good.
It is quite good.
I've been using
yeah.
it, especially when I'm lazy and don't want to.
Oh man, yeah, that's the best.
Right on.
Yep.
When you overhear someone say 외국인,
You know, like when someone's saying foreigner, and in Korea there aren't many foreigners, right? So like I assume that I'm one of the only foreigners around the area, depending on where I am. This actually happened the other day when I was like in the mall and I overheard the word 외국인, and I look around and like I see no 외국ins here, and I'm just like, me? Really? Are you talking about me? What are you saying?
Yeah.
It's true though, because like when I hear 외국인, I'm just like, what? Because I am 외국인, right?
I can relate to this so much. Yes.
So much.
Often you are the only, or I'm the only, like foreigner in a certain area,
Yeah.
and I hear that W word. I'm like, who's talking about me?
Yeah, right? I'm like, what you say?
Oh, it's so interesting. But I think that is kind of true though. Like often Koreans can see me and they're not even talking about me. They
Yeah.
just see me and then they think of their foreigner friend, or they think of like American culture and they're with their friend, they're with their buddy. And they're like,
Yeah.
you know what? I really want to go to the US. I really want to go to Europe.
Oh, true.
Or like, I wish
yeah.
I could date a foreigner one time. You know?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, it's none of my business because it's not my conversation that I'm having, but it definitely, it's something I'm always
Yeah,
listening for.
you always hear it. Yeah.
Foreigner, 외국인.
What? It's so true. Yeah.
What did I do something wrong? Like,
I know.
Am I not
Like-
wearing my mask yet?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that too. Yeah, but it's not always like a bad thing that they're, they're saying about you.
Let's go to the next one.
Next one. Oh my god.
No, uncle, I'm in South Korea, not North. How many times have you heard this one?
So many. And I remember specifically to the first time I went back to America to visit, I went to like a pub and with my friend, and there was this girl, like really friendly girl sitting next to us at the bar, and she was just like chatting us up. She's like, oh, where do you live? And I was like, oh, well, I'm just visiting. I just said Korea. And she's like, oh, like North or South? And I'm like, I can't really go to North Korea.
Yeah. Who thinks that you're allowed to teach American English in North Korea? I don't understand who thinks that that's possible.
The thing is I think a lot of like Americans, they don't know which one they're like, oh, is it the North or South where you're allowed to go to?
Is that true where you're from, that there are people that really don't know? Did you know people in your hometown like that?
Kind of, yeah, because
Wow.
like
America is so varied.
Yeah, it is varied. Like I come from a very small town, and there's some people that really have not traveled. Even like my family have never been outside of America before. They stay kind of like where they are.
Surprisingly, Americans, more than people would think, do not travel. A lot of them stay right where they are.
Yeah.
You see a lot of like Australians, New Zealand, people from New Zealand, Kiwis. South Koreans love to travel.
Yeah,
Of course, there's people everywhere. Everybody's different. Yeah, that's the
Right.
answer for everything. But but a lot of Americans, my family too.
Yeah.
No one has been to Asia except for me and my dad. some people have been to Europe, but most people just stay where they are in America. It's so true.
A lot of people I know in my town, like they've never traveled, and if they do, it's like, you know, fairly close by in America. But even like some people, they don't travel within America a lot. So it's it's quite interesting. It's really expensive though to go outside of America.
It's easier to go from England to Spain than it is to go from the US to Spain.
Right, of course.
Korean staff, when they see you by mistake.
Oh man.
This is definitely a good one for comedy.
Yeah,
it's not always true, but sometimes it feels like it's true.
A lot of times actually I go into places and even if I speak Korean, they'll really like try to make effort to like speak English and make me feel comfortable. So I think that's really kind of them. And then sometimes they see me and they're like, oh, because they're like, I my English, you know, maybe is not that great, and then they like are talking to each other. Who speaks English? You know. Sometimes, it's okay. You can speak Korean.
I just want to wear a shirt that like 한국말 할 수 있어요.
할 수 있어요.
네. 한국말로 얘기해도 돼요.
My Korean isn't the best, and I get like kind of nervous speaking it. So I can only imagine like you know. Them seeing a foreigner.
Okay, what language did you study in high school or middle school? Spanish, French, or German?
I studied French like a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't finish it all the way through.
Here's a thought exercise for you. You're at home in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And you're in a cafe, and you're working, and a whole group of people from France come, and they don't speak English. One comes in and tries to order in French. How do you think you'd do?
Oh man, I do horribly.
Yeah. How would you feel?
Bonjour. Oui. I'd be nervous, yeah, for sure. I'd be really stressed out.
What would you do?
I think I'd try my best, but I'd have my translator on the side just in case.
You can also do like body language, like
body language, for sure. Body language also helps quite a lot. Yeah.
Gas bill. After you turn on floor heating for just 5 minutes.
Oh man, that's true. You know, like during the winter, I try not to turn it on like as much as I can.
How do you keep your house warm?
I bundle up. I just
True, very true.
Like I don't know. As much as I can, I try not to turn it on, or I'll turn it on for a little bit and it gets kind of warm and it warms up for a bit and then I turn it off and then I like go to sleep with a lot of blankets. Yeah.
January, that's the scariest month when you check your gas bill.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Especially if like you're living in like a bigger place and like you only sleep in a small room, but like it'll heat up your kitchen, it'll heat up the other room too.
Oh yeah, you don't need that. It can get quite expensive for sure. I see that some people, they have like those like electric heaters. And those are I think those are more economical.
So do you think utilities in Korea in general are expensive besides heating?
It's quite cheaper, I think, compared to America. Yeah, in America it would be like oil heating up the house. So that could be actually even more expensive. You know?
Yeah, I would say I would agree with that. I would say utility costs are pretty reasonable here.
Yeah, they're in electricity. It's quite cheap. Yeah, it's not bad. Just the key money on the house.
Key money, yes.
That kills you.
Killer key money. Couldn't agree more. All right, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun.
Hope you guys enjoyed it too, and I'll catch you next time.
Bye. See you.